Here we go. 25% of the questions on the STAR test have some form of expression is equivalent to. 25% is 1/4 of 100, but it is 1/3 of the grade, 1/3 of the points that you need to pass it. So anytime you see the words, the phrase, which expression is equivalent, which expression represents, which expression is a factored form, these are the tricks that you're going to use. And they're very, very simple tricks. So these are the ones that you don't want to forget. I know we're showing you guys a lot of calculator tricks and stuff. So and apparently this year it's just so hard to handle all of the tricks at once, but this is one of the ones you really don't want to forget. Here it is. Which expression is equivalent? Highlight that. Equivalent. What does it mean to have something equivalent? Equal. It means equal. It means the same. So meaning if I work this out the long way, the hard way, I will end up getting one of these answer choices. Now, the way you can find the answer, the easiest way to find the answer for it is by typing in everything in the question part into, I don't think her face is the answer. So into Y1. All of your answer choices into Y2 one at a time. You don't want to try to be a hero and put them in Y2, 3, 4, and 5. No. So one at a time. Now, the hardest part, and my first period seemed to struggle with this, the hardest part of all of this is typing it in correctly. Because I had a lot of students coming back to me, Miss, this one didn't give me the right answer. I looked at the screen, I looked at their Y equals screen, and it's because they did not type it in correctly. That is literally the hardest part of this trick, of this calculator trick. If it has parentheses, type in the parentheses. Minus 6x squared on the inside plus 9 minus 6x plus 3. And then we're going to type in answer choice 1, A, negative 4x squared minus 2x plus 12. I got it?
No.
Okay. All right, from there, step 3 says press second graph. We're going to go to the table. So second graph. And you're trying to make sure, or you're trying to check to see if the last 2 columns match. Even though there's a 6 here and a 6 down here, that's not a match. It has to be 6, 6, 0, 0, negative 14, negative 14. So A is not our answer. Let's try B. The only difference between A and B is having that plus 12 changes to a plus 6. So I'm going to go back to Y equals. I do not need to change Y1. I'm just going to go over and change it to a plus 6 and press second graph. And what do you get?
No.
They should.
They do. A, so that's the one that did first and next to it.
B.
Oh, B does match.
B does match. 6, 6, 0, 0, negative 14, negative 14, negative 36, negative 36, negative 66, negative 66. If one column is positive and the other one's negative, that is not a match, but these do match exactly the same. So your answer is B. Okay, so we're going, because I didn't fill it in or because I whited it out, we're going to write that answer choice B into Y2 because that is what we typed. 4x, negative 4x squared minus 2x plus 6 to get this table, and highlight those last 2 columns. Right there. And turn to the middle when you're ready. Single factor. Which expression is a factor? Which expression is a factor? When you see the word a factor, it's taught, it means that in my answer choices, they're only giving us how many? 1. A means 1 factor. Now, to best explain why we're going to do the trick that we're doing, the calculator trick, we're going to have to work this out the long way. Okay, so I'm going to work it out the long way, the right way. right here under these true false boxes on the side. 18x squared minus 15x plus 2. Now this will help give a equals 0. Anytime you have all of your trinomials on one side, that means that your equation is equal to 0. I forgot. This will help those people that actually want to refresh their minds on how to do kidnap the long way. So here we go. When you have a number in front of the squared term, you have to kidnap, meaning you're going to send it to the back and you're going to multiply. So 18 times 2 gives us what? X squared minus 15x plus 36. From there, we go into the diamond. So 36 falls to the top and negative 15 on the bottom. Okay. Now we find our factors using the calculator. So in Y1, we can type 36 divided by X. What do we type in Y2?
Y1.
X plus Y1. So second trace, enter. Or alpha trace, enter. Second trace. Oh, I forgot. It was alpha. And then press second graph. And you're looking for the negative 15 in the very last column. I see a positive, so find that negative one. What two numbers does it give you on the sides? Correct. Here at this negative 15, you get negative 3, negative 12, right there. Negative 15. All right, so let's write those down. Negative 3, negative 12. And where do we put those two numbers? Into our binomials, x minus 3, x minus 12. But are we done? Not even with the factoring part, because don't forget, we kidnapped. So we have to divide. We have to part ways with the kid. And when we divide, these fractions actually simplify. And negative 3 over 18 simplifies or reduces to what? Negative 1 over 6. The 12 over 18 reduces to what? Negative 2/3. So we're going to take that bottom number in the fraction and do bottoms up. Bottom number to the top. Bottom number to the top. 6x minus 1, and then 3x minus 2. And you can now see your answer. What answer is it? F. Your answer is F. But what would we do what do we actually do now from this step? What step did we add? Turn it into an equation. So let's go ahead and do that. 3x minus 2 equals 0. You add the 2. We're just going to do the correct one. And then divide by 3. And you get x equals 2/3. What does that x equals 2/3 represent? Your 0. It represents your 0. So you can check to see if that 2/3 applies or fits into that equation from the question 2 different ways. This one, this binomial gives me x equals 2/3. Now, if you try this trick with the first answer choice and it doesn't give you the correct answer, yes, you would have to solve for x on the other ones until you find your answer. But what would be easier for you? Going through the whole process of kidnap and solving, or just solving each answer for x, at which these are 2-step equations, or 1 step. If you look at H, that would be, if F or G are not the right answers, H would be a 1-step equation. All you have to do is add 2. This is much faster right here. This is much faster if you remember what to do than having to do all of this. Here, you can you know, you can make a lot of errors. There's a lot of room for error here. So I would rather just take the answer choice and keep going. Solve for X. And then now that we know what X is, there's two ways to solve this. We can take this X and plug it in anywhere we see an X in the equation. And there's two ways to plug in your answers into the calculator. So we're going to go over both of those ways. Ready? So you plug in when you plug in your answers, you have to set up that equation. This is the same equation, 18x squared minus 15x plus 2. We set it equal to 0, and you'll notice all I did was switch out the x for the parentheses. I switched out an x for parentheses. That's it. Nothing else changed. The square didn't change, the minus, the 15, the 2. Everybody good? All right. So we're going to plug in that 2/3, two different ways. The first way is to plug it in yourself. So we're going to do that in the home screen. So second quit, we're going to type in 18 parentheses, plug in your 2/3, alpha y equals 2/3. Squared on the outside, minus 15. Parentheses, alpha y equals, put your 2/3 in. And then plus 2. How do I put an equal sign? Second math. So second math, there's my equal sign, put your 0. And what do you get? Do you get a 0? Do you get a 1? What does a 1 mean? That it's true. It makes the equation true. So that is my correct answer. So when we put a 2/3, it gives me true. If it were any other number other than 2/3, so let me just show you. Let's say instead of that 2, I'm gonna put a 5, just for fun, just so you can see a wrong answer. Let's say I typed it in incorrectly. It would give me a 0, and that lets me know that that is not the correct answer. Okay, yes? Are we okay with that? Now turn the page. There's another way to also do the same exact thing. I have students that have trouble setting it up to substitute. I have students that are like, well, does the squared go on the inside or does it go on the outside? Do you have to put it in parentheses or do you not put it in parentheses? There is a solution for you as well. Though for those students, if you know what to plug in, if you can make it as far here as knowing that you're going to plug in that 2/3, you can tell the calculator to do the plugging in for you. You do that by typing your 2/3, alpha y equals, type your 2/3. You're going to press store. Store is the number or the button right above on, and X. That is what this is doing to the calculator. You're telling the calculator, I want you to plug in 2/3 anywhere you see an X. Understand? So now I can type in that same equation without parentheses, without anything. Just 18x squared minus 15x plus 2 equals 0, second math. And there's your 1. So if you have trouble plugging the numbers in yourself, store the number and tell the calculator to do the plugging in for you. Got it? All right. Last thing. So I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to put my 2/3 on the screen. It will give you a 2/3 back. And we're going to move on to the very last page. How do you find the area of a square? By multiplying what? Length times width. Okay. It wants us to find the area, or it says, given the length of a side, what is the area of a square? First, what do we know about squares? All the sides are the exact same. All the sides are the same. All the sides are equal. Meaning if this side is 6x minus 5, this side is going to also be 6x minus 5. And we just said that you calculate the area or of a square or a rectangle by multiplying length times width. You multiply. Multiply. Okay. So I know I'm going to multiply this side times this side. If you want to do it the long way, you would use box or FOIL. But since I know what my two binomials are, and I know that once I work that out, it'll be equivalent to one of my answers, I can type that into Y1 and type all of this into Y2, one at a time, of course. You never want to try to do everything at once. So go to Y equals, clear everything out, type your binomial, type in the 6x minus 5 times 6x minus 5 into Y1, and your answer choice is one at a time into Y2. So the first one I'm going to try is 24x minus 20. And then we hit second graph. Do we get the same numbers? Do we get equivalent numbers? We do not. So that is not the correct answer. So now let's try B. You don't have to change what you have typed in in Y1. 36x squared minus 25. Does that one give you equivalent numbers? No. All right, let's try one more. 36x squared minus 60x plus 25. What about that one? Yes, your numbers are equivalent. They are exactly the same. 1, 49, 49, 169, 169. Got it? So there's your answer, H. All right, I'm gonna come around and give you your packet.